In this tutorial, we're going to take our free generic church series that is totally free to you to use however you like. And we're going to talk about how to transform that into something that you may want to use for Thanksgiving or any other holiday by just changing the color palettes, changing the text, as well as the photos. Let's dive on in. Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. My name is Alex. So if you have noticed, we've done a lot of changes to our Pixel Preacher site. We've done a whole big makeover on our front page, as well as adding this free series for you to download. So this is a super customizable series where you can go in and add your own photos and your own color palette and text and stuff in there. So check this out really quick. So this is this is totally free for you to download. It has graphics and all sorts of stuff in it. But I thought that, man, this would be a great way to show you the possibilities of this generic church series. We can completely turn it around and make it into something that you could use for maybe the Thanksgiving holiday. So I thought I would take the series and see how fast I could transform this into something for Thanksgiving to use maybe the week before or the week after for your church. So I've downloaded it. I've gotten it ready to open up and edit. So if you're not really sure on how to do that, all you just need to do is click on Download Series. You can go to a checkout page and make an account and get that downloaded right away. So what I've done, I've gotten mine downloaded. Then I also went to Unsplash and found a bunch of, let me pull it up over here, a bunch of Thanksgiving generic photos. So I went to Unsplash and just typed in Thanksgiving and found some great stuff of, tables and leaves and pumpkins and things like that. So you could add in your own photos, but this is just what I grabbed really quickly to show you an example. So then I just downloaded those photos. I added them to a folder here called Photos. I just made this on my own and dropped some in there. And now I'm ready to open up After Effects and mess around with what my options are. We'll come back to the Photoshop file in a bit. Let's just talk about the After Effects portion of this. So I went to After Effects and I opened up just the version that I'm on, which is 2019. So I'm clicking on Generic Church Bumper, and that's going to open up After Effects. And once this opens, I can jump in and start importing my photos and replace the ones that are there right now. That's just as the generic church series. So let's check this out and see how fast we can turn this around for Thanksgiving. All right, so once the project opens up, it's going to look a lot like this, and this is what's already set up in here. And now we can easily go in and start adding our photos. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over here to the Project Manager window here, click on Add Your Photos here. Then I can just hit Command I to import those, and I can find those photos which are right here. Let me open this up a little bit. I can just click and drag these in, or just highlight all of them and hit Import. It's going to load them in here, and it's going to drop them in with all the other ones, but we can ignore these for now. We're really just focusing on these four here. Okay, so first let's talk about just how to replace those. So then I'm going to go down to the Photo Comps folder, and this is where you're going to have these compositions that you see right here. So all I want to do is double click on these. So we'll do Photo 1, and this will be our first photo, and I want to replace this one here. So the way I usually do is I click here to highlight the photo that's currently in there. I click on the one that I want up here, so this Thanksgiving table, and then I can hold down Option, click, and drag it down here, and it'll replace that one, just like that. Now it's not quite how we want it, so I just need to hit S on the keyboard, and I can scale that up just like that. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go to our photo number 2, double click on that, and here we have these kids here. I'm going to replace that one with, let's see here, let's find maybe a good shot of some pumpkins. Here we go. Here's some pumpkins here. Again, I'll select the photo that I'm going to replace, and I'm going to select the photo that I'm going to replace it with up here, these pumpkins. You can see they're both highlighted, and then when I hold down Option, click, drag it down here and let go, and it replaces it. Only problem is now it's vertical, and that's not really going to work. So all I want to do is rotate this photo, and you can see that it's a 3D layer. So if I try to click and rotate it, it's not really going to work very well. It's going to get all crazy like that, and that's not what we want to do. I want to take my mouse, hit W on the keyboard for that rotation tool, and then drag my mouse right on top of that little blue arrow that's kind of pointing right at you, and then click and drag. And you can hold down Shift, and it'll lock onto a plane. That looks good there. And I want to just scale this up a little bit, so I'm going to hit S on the keyboard and scale that up. You can also click here and hit R to get your rotation, and then you can rotate it right here by this Z-axis number. All right, done. Let's go to photo 3. We'll replace this one, maybe with these leaves here. So again, I click on the photo, click on my new photo. They're both highlighted. I hold down Option, click, drag it down to the timeline, and let go. And there we go. So again, I need to move this around. So I'm going to hit S on the keyboard for that scale, scale it up. And now I can hit V on the keyboard for that move tool, just my typical pointer tool, and slide it up. There we go. You just want to fill the frame. That's all we want to do there. So I'm going to hit photo number 4, and we'll replace this one with this dinner table. Click on my old photo, click on my new photo, hold down Option, click, drag, and drop. So this one's a lot different size, so now I need to scale it way down. So I'm going to hit S on the keyboard, scale it way down. There we go. And now all I'm doing is just clicking and dragging that number. All right, so now we can go back to our control panel, and all these will update in just 1 second. So now it's starting to look a little bit more festive. So now we need to adjust these colors because these do not scream Thanksgiving for me. So what I did is I went to color.adobe.com, and you can start adding color palettes to your library. And you can see I've added a bunch of them over here, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. So here is the website. So color.adobe.com, you can just maybe Google Adobe Colors and it'll come up right there. Click that. Then I go to Explore. And here I can type in whatever I want. So I can type in fall, or I can type in Thanksgiving. This is going to give you a bunch of things that are already, a bunch of palettes that have already been created by users, and they've maybe tagged it Thanksgiving. So you can start going through here and finding ones that you like. So I started saving some, and the way you do that is as long as you're signed in up here to your Adobe account, then you can go and start adding some colors to your library. So let's say, I wanted to use one of these here. I would put my mouse right on top of the palette I want. Then right here's this little Add to Library button. You click that, and it automatically adds it to your library. So for instance, I think this was my most recent one. So I hit Add to Library, and it'll pop in right over here. And there it goes, just like that. Super simple. Okay, so once you find the colors you want, you can then close this out. And now we want to start pulling in some of these colors. And the way to do that is using this Essential Graphics window. This is going to be your best bet. So I'm not going to go through the way to do it without the Essential Graphics window. I'll assume that you have access to this, but it's a pretty awesome tool. So if you don't see this window, go to Window and Essential Graphics. All right, so we want to focus on the color palette window. I'm going to toggle this down. And here you can see the 4 colors that we can use. And typically there's 5 here, but we just have 4 for this option. Then you want to just play around with the colors that you want to see in your project. And sometimes it'll work great and sometimes it won't. But we'll talk about how to adjust some of that. So let's just start with, this first one that I did here. So I'm going to go from light to dark. And the way I'm going to do that is clicking on this little eyedropper tool, bringing my mouse right over here, and I'm going to click on that light color. Then I'm going to click on color 2. And start working my way through these colors. So maybe we'll do this orange. Then maybe this red here. And then I might want to do that dark brown. Okay, so this dark brown didn't really work very well. But if I go and click on this color number 4, I could tweak this a little bit. So this might be a little bit too light for me. So I'm going to pull my color down, maybe down here somewhere. Let's go with that. Give it a second to update. All right, so that feels pretty good right there. I think I might even go a tad bit more towards the orange vibe. Hit OK. All right, so right away this is feeling a lot more Thanksgiving vibe going on here. I wonder if I maybe added a little touch of blue into that. Let's try. Yeah, that feels pretty good. This red is a little strong, so I may go into here and maybe pull that one back just a bit. Okay, so that feels pretty Thanksgiving-like. I'm kind of cool with that. Maybe pull out just a little bit less of the blue there, and we'll be all set. So you can play with this as much as you want. Try all kinds of different colors and themes and see what comes about. But this quickly has now become a nice Thanksgiving bumper. So now let's start playing with some of the text. Everything's been updated. I can go into scene 1, which is here. Toggle this down, and we can change our text to "It's that time of year." Okay. We can go to scene 2. When we gather together. That text feels a tad bit big, so we could bump that size down. You can click on Edit Properties and click on Enable Font Size Adjustment. Hit OK. Then we can maybe make this, bring that size down just a bit. There we go. And then we can go to scene 3. You can ignore all these colors for now. We cover all of this in the main tutorial for this package, but now we're just focusing on this Thanksgiving option. So let's see, we gather together to strengthen families, maybe to celebrate family, and we'll go to scene 4, and we could really just leave that one there. That kind of works there as well, so we'll keep that as is. Okay, so there is our new bumper. We can go to the scene 5 where it says welcome, and we could put, instead of welcome, we can say Happy Thanksgiving. And that feels a tad bit big. I can hit edit properties, bump that down a good bit there. Happy Thanksgiving. Then you can go in and change that last little line if you would like that as well. Line 2. You could change this here, but we'll keep it for now. So this was just a quick overview of what you can do within this generic church series package. Again, we really just focused on the video portion, but there's graphics and all sorts of things included that you can edit and customize. So all of that is in the tutorial video that's included. So download this, it's for free, enjoy, let us know what you create, and we hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving.